In the heart of ancient Rome, where marble columns reached toward the heavens and the sweet scent of olive oil and fresh bread wafted through the air, there stood a marketplace unlike any other. This wasn't just any marketplace. It was a place where fortunes were made and lost, where travelers from distant lands shared the tales of far-off adventures, and where, if you knew where to look, you might find something far more precious than gold or silver: wisdom. The morning sun had just begun to warm the cobblestones when our story begins. Merchants were setting up their stalls, their voices rising in a cheerful chorus as they arranged colorful fabrics, gleaming pottery, and fragrant spices. Children darted between the stalls like playful sparrows, their laughter mixing with the gentle cooing of doves that nested in the temple eaves. But there, in a quiet corner of this bustling scene, sat a remarkable man named Epictetus. Unlike the merchants who shouted to draw attention to their wares, Epictetus drew people to him with his silence. His simple tunic and weathered walking stick might have made him seem ordinary to passers-by, but those who knew better could see the extraordinary wisdom in his gentle eyes. "Master Epictetus," Marcus began, his voice barely louder than the cooing doves above, "I hope I'm not disturbing you, but I've been told you might be able to help me." His hands fidgeted with the hem of his tunic as he spoke. Epictetus gestured to the empty space beside him on the stone bench. "Sit with me, young friend," he said, his voice as warm as the morning sun. "Tell me what troubles your heart." Marcus settled onto the bench, and the words began to tumble out like water from an overflowing fountain. He spoke of his fears about the future. Would he be able to take over his father's business successfully? Would he make his family proud? Would he find happiness in life? He told Epictetus about the nights he lay awake, his mind racing with worries about things that hadn't even happened yet. As Marcus spoke, Epictetus listened with the patience of a man who had learned that sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person is our complete attention. When Marcus finally fell silent, Epictetus smiled and pointed to a dog that was trotting past their bench, following its owner who was pulling a cart laden with fresh vegetables. "Do you see that dog, Marcus?" Epictetus asked. "Watch how it moves with the cart. Now, imagine if the dog decided to fight against the direction the cart was moving. What do you think would happen?" Marcus thought for a moment. "I suppose the dog would tire itself out, and the cart would still go where it was meant to go." "Exactly." Epictetus's eyes twinkled. "Life is much like that cart, Marcus. There are many things we cannot control: the weather, other people's opinions, the flow of time itself. We can exhaust ourselves fighting against these things, or we can learn to move with them while focusing on what we can control: our own thoughts, our own actions, our own responses to whatever life presents us." He continued, telling Marcus stories of great men and women who had faced seemingly impossible challenges with grace and courage. He spoke of how true strength comes not from never falling, but from learning to rise again and again. As he talked, Marcus felt the tight knot of anxiety in his chest begin to loosen. "But how do I begin?" Marcus asked. "How do I learn to let go of these worries that seem to follow me like shadows?" Epictetus reached down and picked up a small stone from the ground. "Start with this moment, right now," he said, placing the stone in Marcus's palm. "Feel its weight, its texture. This stone has existed for countless years and will continue to exist long after we are gone. Yet right now, in this moment, you hold it in your hand. This is what you can control. This moment, your attention to it, your response to it." As the morning stretched into afternoon, Epictetus shared more wisdom with Marcus. He taught him about the importance of community, of finding strength in helping others, and of seeing challenges not as burdens, but as opportunities for growth. With each story and lesson, Marcus felt his perspective shifting, like clouds parting to reveal clear sky. "Thank you, Master Epictetus," he said. "I feel as though I'm seeing the world through new eyes." Epictetus smiled that gentle smile of his. "Remember, Marcus, every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can't choose what challenges the day will bring, but you can choose how you will meet them. Will you be like the dog fighting the cart, or will you be like the wise traveler who knows how to find his way no matter the weather?" As Marcus walked away, weaving through the crowd with new purpose in his step, many wondered what would become of him. Would he remember the lessons he learned that day? Would he find the strength to face his fears with courage? The story goes that Marcus did indeed remember. In the years that followed, he became known not just as a successful merchant, but as a kind and wise man himself. People would often see him sitting in that same marketplace, sharing what he had learned with others who, like him, were seeking wisdom. And so, the teachings of Epictetus lived on, passed from person to person like precious gems, their value growing with each sharing. For in the end, true wisdom is not about having all the answers, but about learning to ask the right questions and face life's challenges with grace, courage, and an open heart. And now, as our tale comes to an end, we might ask ourselves, what wisdom will we carry forward from this story? How will we choose to face our own challenges tomorrow? Sweet dreams, and may you wake up ready to face whatever adventures await you with the courage of Marcus and the wisdom of Epictetus. The end.